It's the place to be, you're gonna get to know. Restaurants and movies appear, amusement parks and ocean piers, war built and loved by family. Atlantic City's face, a changing place, time to lead the way. You want to see the old become the new, remember yesterday. Rolling chairs and trolley cars, Ferris wheels and movie stars, all were built and loved by family. Atlantic City, my hometown. Atlantic City, world's playground. Atlantic City star shines near and far, you can see its glow. You get some sand in your shoes, shells in your hand, it's the place to go. Beauty pageants and parades, cotton candy taffies made, all were built and loved by families. Atlantic City, my hometown. Atlantic City, world's playground. Atlantic City, my hometown. Atlantic City, world's playground.
Hello and welcome to the Postcard Show. Welcome back. We welcome you each Sunday, same time, same station. We flip postcards of Atlantic City. What we do is tell you about the developments of Atlantic City, the geography, anything you can think of. So, and we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. We understand that the show is being accepted pretty well and pretty wide in area. A lot of people watching it. My co-host John Flores put together a lot of these shows, a lot of the information. We've listed him as the historian on the show. No big whoop there. We have program consultants and directors and producers, and the show's being accepted, and we appreciate that. We're going to continue where we left off. We're at Center City, Atlantic City. We're going to jump right. John wants to say something. Hold on. Tape the shows. Oh yeah. Tape the shows. Everybody's got a VCR. Tape these shows, put them up on a shelf, mark Atlantic City history, and you'll have a picture of everything that's not even here anymore. It's all gone.
There's a new Atlantic City right there behind us.
Right behind us is the main, that's what's left now.
That second wave is becoming just a little bit of a second wave. It's been held up a little bit. It's going to change though. The future's coming. And we're going to flip to the cars.
I'm going to go to Atlantic Avenue right now to start this off.
What would that be? Tennessee and Atlantic? A shot from New York and Atlantic.
From New York to Tennessee and Atlantic, the old City Hall right here with the fire department behind it. Here's Chelsea Title, and you know, people say Coonley, Connells, this and that. Someone told me the exact pronunciation of this gentleman's name who owned this hotel. If you say Connell, you'll get it right every time. They say it was not Coonells or Cunleys or Cannells, it was Coonell.
Somebody ought to set that straight.
Right. Somebody should set it straight, and I believe that I am now. People in Venice Park told me the name is Cunnell.
Connell Avenue?
Connell, because it's also Connell Avenue in Venice Park, right before you go over the Ohio Avenue Bridge.
Well, he was a mayor, right?
He was a mayor. He
Okay.
also owned this hotel at this corner here. Now, to show how it worked, the railroad came up behind these buildings and let everybody off right behind City Hall. That's why all the banks were here, so that they could get all the money onto the boxcars and get it out of here.
Why, has people made money in Atlantic City?
They're making $1 million a street end today, so something must be up. They're always making money here. That's why you had so many banks. You used to have like 39 or 40 banks in this town.
How about setting up for the Golden Jubilee, it says on there. Golden Jubilee, you can't see it.
In 1904, the city was what, 50 years old?
Hello.
Here's City Hall at Tennessee and Atlantic with Connell's Hotel on this side. Over here would go M.E. Blatt years later, for those who have a jogging memory. The Vienna restaurant would be right here, but they celebrate it by these huge concrete columns that they put in here, and like an Arch de Triomphe here, looking like the, what is it, the Champs-Élysées or something like that. But that's the way that looked, and then when it got done, they would sit these individually along the city, and they brought them out also in 1929 and strung a circular light on them.
Well, 1904 now. The automobile was only a year old, right?
No, 1889.
Oh, 1889? Oh, the airplane was a year old. Well, how you pronounce that again?
They say if you say Connell, you'll get it right.
K-U-E-H, what? I-L-E?
Yeah.
Apostrophe S?
Right, Connell's.
Connell's. Okay. Well,
People
City
say-
Hall is behind that, and it's 10 a.m. in the
Yeah,
morning.
put it in it.
It is, isn't it? It's 10 a.m. in the morning. I read the clock.
Did you read the clock?
See the City Hall
Oh,
clock?
yes, 10 a.m. in the morning.
10 a.m. in the morning. There's people coming down the
Chelsea title. Here's people walking down from Tennessee to North Carolina, which
South Carolina.
South Carolina. This became the Boardwalk National Bank.
And
Right now, it's something else. The name's changed about 10 times. And in the back, here's an old automobile, like a Tin Lizzie. And as you went down here, this is where everybody goes in the back door of that bank
cafe
now.
and restaurant.
A cafe and restaurant. But if you even go further, this would be Bacharach Boulevard, which would be over here, right over here. That's the back of the bank now. This is City Hall is right in here now. And this is the front entrance to the railroad station.
The City Hall parking lot.
City Hall parking lot right now.
Facing the bank.
Facing, this here is South Carolina Avenue.
Facing.
And right on this corner where my pointer would be, to try to jog people's memories, would have been the Carolina Grill.
A green restaurant.
Right, it had green marble all around, it was nice. And now it's just a bus stop to go to Brigantine, I think, or somewhere.
No, Metroplex Park.
Oh, Metroplex Park there. It was a private park owned by private citizens, and the city spent $100,000 fixing it up for them.
Facing that building.
That's the Barrett building, if you know. Bartlett building. This here was where I just was with the railroad station to North Carolina. It's an empty lot now, as it is in this picture. And here's the Bartlett building, which in our day was the Guaranteed Bank and Trust building. They took this piece off the top, then they added another story to it.
Always had a bank in here,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what name they put on it. What was it, Syracuse Insurance?
Yeah, now they call it 1125 Atlantic.
Right. These are office buildings by attorneys and different people. The county, I don't have the photo of it, built a 7th floor on there and became the courthouses and all that stuff.
County courts used to be up in here. I think it still may be juvenile or something, but everything is really over on the site of the Penn Atlantic.
City government has some apartments in there. Not apartments,
Here it is again here, 1125 Atlantic. Up here is the Preston Apartments at Pennsylvania in Atlantic. You can see the trolleys going downtown.
Oh, yeah.
And the railroad trolley tracks that led east up to Main Avenue. This would be Pennsylvania and Atlantic right here, North Carolina Atlantic right here.
Same photo.
Same photo dropping back a block to South Carolina. Right now you have a 7-Eleven here, the Stanley Restaurant, and Kent's used to be over here. This is the Manhattan Apartments, you can see here. And across from the Manhattan Apartments was Pennsylvania to North Carolina Avenue on the bay side of the street.
This isn't Center City, but I'll show you this one, if you'd like that one, I think.
That's a shot from the first building of the train war, when the train war finally got up above 7 or 8 stories, looking at the Claridge and the Brighton and the Marlboro Blenheim, where the Mercer Hospital was in the background here. This was originally the site of the Children's Seashore Home. This is Brighton Park, which was deed restricted to the city by Jonathan Pitney
was his farm. In 1929, they put the Fountain of Light in the middle here because it was the 50th anniversary of the light bulb. And then you can see the way they went into the Brighton Casino by this road here.
What is Atlantic City High School in the back?
You can barely see Atlantic City High School back here at Ohio and Pacific.
There it is.
The Crelone was behind the Claridge.
Polillo or whatever?
Crelone. The Brighton became the colony.
Some people look in the foreground of pictures. Some people look in the background of pictures.
This is the top of the King David Nursing Home, the Senator Hotel, or as it opened, I think it was called the Luddy, if I'm correct.
And what's that?
This is the Traymore here. The first piece went on, then this piece, that piece, this piece, and they built this massive hotel here at Illinois in the Boardwalk.
Traymore was massive, and so is just the Northeast Inlet by itself is rather large.
There's an aerial shot of the marina when Tom Battles owned the motel here, and Hap Farley Marina was here. They had dredged this all out and made this marina. It was a man-made marina.
All right, name the slips.
What do you mean?
Name the channels.
Oh, this would be Delta Basin.
Where was that big boat, that guy Angelo Riccio?
That was along the side of Maryland Avenue here.
What's on there? Gilchrist Restaurant down the side?
Yeah, Gilchrist is down here. Snug Harbor is here. And Gardner's Basin is here. It almost goes 3/4 of a mile into the city.
Yeah, it's Gardner's, Snug, and Delta, right?
Gardner's Basin, Snug Harbor, and Delta Basin.
Absecon Inlet.
Well, the Coast Guard station used to be here, but there was so much whiskey and rum being run into the town and brought down into these Rhode Island Avenue and Snug Harbor places that they had to bring the Coast Guard station from this side to this side to stop all the rum and booze running during the Prohibition. Because the ruse was that it was coming into Canada. But I can bet your bottom dollar. It all came in right here, all of it for the East Coast.
You think so, huh?
I know so.
Why, because something was going on here or something?
Something was really happening. Atlantic City was hands off. You weren't even allowed to carry a gun here.
Or have any trouble happen here.
What pier was that you just had up there?
That's the $1 Million Pier, right?
Here's as she looked the day she opened, all new wood, the front piece. When we were kids, this front piece was gone.
Here's a couple of things people talk about. A photograph of the fish net hall.
The net hall, the Barbera family's probably here. Grandsons, children, they probably
There's
recognize.
Frank, here's Frank.
There's Frankie.
There's, oh, we're just kidding. We know the...
Yeah, there's Frankie again.
Yeah, and the young lady.
This is probably the Barbera family running Net Hall 1.
Hello. Bringing it up right then and there. Here's a bunch of people that were in a band on $1 Million Pier, and they stood as a group to get their photo taken.
It's the Filipino band. They're in front of Captain Young's home on $1 Million Pier. They're in his front garden where he had all these figurines and statuettes and a maypole and all that. And
What's that word there? Constabulary band.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
I don't know.
Constabulary.
Well, they were happy about that. They didn't have electricity, so you had to have all air instruments and string instruments like John Philip Sousa in order to make music.
Hey, okay, then they jumped down the beach.
Then they're all down the beach. I can't tell you what beach they're on. Atlantic City Beach.
Yeah, okay. We'll go through some hotels, all right? Here's the Haddon Hall. We're up that
Here's
far.
the Haddon Hall in its original shape and form. Across the street would be the Chalfont. That's before they moved it up towards the boardwalk. Adrian Phillips used to tell me that they actually lifted the Chalfont and moved it up and then built the parking garage for the Haddon Hall behind it. But this was the Haddon Hall. Now, any pictures you see taken eastward back in that day was from the highest point of this building looking east. When you see Pennsylvania Avenue shots from the air, this was the highest point they had. And if you look down the side of the inner side of the Haddon Hall, they had where the residents and all lived back in here, you see? Right here. And then the Strand would start next.
Oh, you see those windows, those 4 windows there?
Here.
Right there? See them?
Yeah.
There they are. There's 2 of them.
We're here?
Yeah, right there.
Right,
and there's
this is the
Strand
side of the
Hotel on
Haddon
the other side
Hall.
of the street.
This is the side of the Haddon Hall, and this is the Strand, when it was just a piece that stayed up as the Abbey. They also built more from here to the boardwalk when they got up there, but this was the inner lots. You didn't get in here. Pennsylvania Avenue was on the other side of the building, and North Carolina was on this side of the building, so you didn't get in here. This was private.
They moved uptown, you had a St. Charles Cottage.
There's the St. Charles. This is St. Charles Place. This is the St. Charles Cottage, and on the other side would have been the Rudolph, which would have been New Jersey in the boardwalk. This is really old. I don't know.
1906, it says Matthew something or other is staying, and we leave, just stopped in. Saw his wife, please save me some food when I get home.
But this is the St. Charles at St. Charles in the Boardwalk.
Well, there's this one. We don't know exactly, what do you say, off the beach at what? Between Vermont and Rhode Island or something?
I would say
Massachusetts?
if the lighthouse is between Vermont and Rhode Island, this would be Rhode Island, and this would be Vermont and the beach.
So that's what, is that the theater? Is that
Actually,
the
what would go up here would be the Hygeia Pools.
I think that's the pool.
Vermont, Rhode Island, yeah, because Victoria Place and then Metropolitan and Massachusetts would be right here. Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Massachusetts.
That's it, as far as you go.
Metropolitan, Victoria Place, the Hygeia Pools, and Rhode Island Avenue, and then Vermont Avenue, and then New Hampshire.
Wow.
So here, coming right around. New Hampshire, Vermont,
See how
Rhode
them
Island.
street ends were always opened? This here we showed last week, we couldn't figure out what it was.
Yeah, this blows our mind. We can't figure out where this roller coaster was. Here's a massive 4x4 track and all. You went into this building, and you went to the second floor, and the roller coaster came by, and this is where you boarded the roller coaster in this building.
Well,
I can't tell. Here's the United States Hotel, okay?
The double hooded thing is the United States Hotel. So it's Virginia Avenue or something.
Wait a second. The United States Hotel was at Maryland and Atlantic.
Right.
Maryland, boom, boom, boom. It's got to be
we'll
Pennsylvania, North Carolina. I don't know where it could be, but this has to be Pacific coming right through here. And they had a massive roller coaster. Where could it be? Kentucky, Tennessee? Anyone knows where this roller coaster is, write us a letter. Here it is. It's big. And it's massive. And this here looks like Tennessee and Pacific, maybe.
Yeah, New York,
right in
Tennessee,
here.
something like that.
To be Maryland only here, Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, North.
Well, how about Arkansas Avenue, the one off behind the $1 Million Pier?
The United States Hotel wouldn't appear that close up here from Tennessee. It would be over there. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a weird one.
We don't know where that is. If that's Arkansas and Pacific, that's another deal.
Let's go to the beach.
Go to the beach.
Go jump in the ocean.
Go Gully Gully. You go swim in the gully and get out on the sandbar and play in the mud and get under these
Here's a pretty one, closer to the pier.
Closer to the pier. Look at that crowd.
Oh.
Is that a crowd? What the heck happened there? I think
Sandbar.
Sandbar. I think W.C. Fields pulled one of his drowning acts out here to draw a crowd, because there's the hot dog guys and the ice. Look at that crowd on that beach. This is Steeplechase Pier here.
Steeplechase
So what you would
Pier.
have here is the Strand, the seaside.
What is the Steeplechase Pier?
There's Steeplechase there, but the seaside building is a, wait a second now. Pennsylvania, yeah. This would be the front of the Boardwalk stores in front of the Haddon Hall before the arcade got built.
Why does that Boardwalk look so funny, though? What is that? I don't know.
Steel.
There you go. Walking uptown towards
There's Steeplechase again. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And the steel behind it. This would be in front of the Haddon Hall going east.
I'd be right here. Looking
That's the other way. Here's the seaside building. So this is Pennsylvania and the Boardwalk. This is the front of the Strand where they had the rolling chair building. This later became a restaurant.
Yeah.
Wolfie's Restaurant.
Right.
And then as you come over to this side, you can see the weather station.
The weather
right
station.
Here, right there.
The weather station.
Well, there it is again.
Hello. Isn't that where that president shook hands with the greatest amount of people?
Yeah, McKinley or somebody shook hands with as many people as he could here for the Ripleys, believe it or not. But this is Pennsylvania in the Boardwalk. This is the seaside building. This is where Chris Morris's father sold all those gadgets and stuff.
Oh, you mean with Ed McMahon and Charles Bronson?
Ed McMahon, Charles Bronson, everybody worked there.
The mixer. It was the mixer before the...
Yeah, it was a blender before it became called a blender. Yeah.
And that's
Veg-O-Matic.
Veg-O-Matic. Little cup that give you a drink or something.
Now there's looking down Pennsylvania Avenue towards Pacific. Here's the Strand on your left and the seaside on your right.
The seaside.
The seaside, right.
They put the motel there and built the brick part too, right?
Well, they had the front, they had a golf here.
Oh, yeah.
Then they had this, and then they built the brick piece in front of it. Then they tore this down and actually put the terrace, or the seaside motel, and then the terrace.
Right.
And then here's the Strand on this side of the street.
There's that steeple of the church all the way up there.
There's the steeple on the church, but they had a major fire here in 1953. This all burnt down.
Whoa.
I watched that fire as a 6-year-old from this side of the street.
You stood over on this side of the street looking at the Strand burn?
Actually, I was probably standing right here watching the Strand burn in 53, which this is 1903. So 53 years before this is the seaside.
Was that there when we watched that fire?
No.
That was gone. It was the fence to the motel or the pool.
No, it was the seaside.
Yeah, that's the seaside.
Concrete.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, okay. So go jump in the ocean. You know what I mean? There's the women. That's all they could do. Or if they jump in, they drown, right? They're so
well, the clothing would be so heavy that you probably would drown.
Yeah, you can't get in or out of the water, do you?
Yeah, that's the way it looked.
Looks that bad, right? I got to look for a good one here.
Well, don't edit too many out.
No, I'm editing a few out because we're repeating ourselves. We don't want to look like
that's the Steeplechase Pier.
Twin repeaters here.
Here's the weather stand. That's a shot from the other direction from Pennsylvania Avenue towards Steeplechase Pier, which incidentally now is completely gone. There's not even a deck.
Which one was called the Ocean Pier?
Yeah, I don't know, but
that
this is Steeplechase Pier.
Did Steeplechase burn down?
Yeah, in 1930s.
Is that it burning?
I think that's the Steeplechase Pier burnt down and wrecked. Here it is completely demolished by fire. Here's a shot from inside where they used to have that steeplechase thing where you went in, everybody dressed as a clown or something.
Dig that.
What was it called? The floor went around in a circle, whipped you out of there.
Whip-de-whip, loop-de-loop. There's a nighttime
There it is at night, lit up.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now we can go to the next pier, which would be Steel, right? That would be Steel up that way.
On the way uptown is Steel Pier from Virginia Avenue. Virginia to Pennsylvania on the boardwalk.
Is the steeple on the roof there crooked, or is it the card? It's the card.
Here's right here.
That's where the General Motors exhibit.
General Motors exhibit went right in here, right? Then they gave some boardwalk room. See, it used to be right on the edge. Then they gave it some room here. They gave it some more decking.
Well, where that crowd's gathering at that door, right? Isn't that where that crowd's gathering?
That's exactly
Virginia Avenue on the boardwalk, right?
That's right.
Deciding whether they go to the Virginia Theater or into that Steel Pier that had 3 movies and, what was it, 25 cents all day, eat lunch, the whole bit, right?
Oh, it was beautiful. Couldn't beat
How to get rid of your kids.
Couldn't beat the Steel Pier.
Here's a good photo. I like this photo here. That's the side.
That's the Steel Pier. They're starting to fill in and roof and close in these picnic balconies here. When we were kids, they had it all closed in, and you walked the long aisle to the stage where they built the music hall theater. And you had long balconies.
All right.
It's pretty well. This Virginia Avenue beach, this is where we started being beach boys and umbrella boys on this beach. There's the beach tent for the lifeguards right here, the medical stand at Virginia and the beach.
Here's an old one from another direction.
It's the same one you just showed.
Is that the same one?
Yeah. Show the interiors.
Just a second, fella. You know what I mean? Don't cause me to do something on screen. You know what I mean? There you go.
What happened here?
Eric, my man. He's telling us there's only a few minutes left with that signal.
Well, this is inside. Years later, they built a stage here. They built the balconies here. And they put seating in here, and they closed all this in, and this became your music hall theater. From the stage back to the entrance of the theater. It was a very long theater, and this is where the vaudeville shows took place. If you missed this show, you could go out to the Marine Ballroom and see the star you wanted to see by himself without
being... Where's the Marine Ballroom? All the way out the end?
It's 1,450 feet out over the ocean. There it is when it's completely built. The Marine Ballroom out there, a quarter of a mile at sea, and on the other end of this is where they put the water circus out here. So you can see it's not even on there at this time.
Isn't that something? That's early. You know what the date is on that card?
Probably 1899.
Whoa. At night.
There it is at night, lit up.
Heading uptown. At night. Right out front where the movie Atlantic City, what was it called? The Burglar years ago?
The Burglar. Jane Mansfield, Dan DeRay, and Mickey Shaughnessy.
Everything took place right out front of that. And we'll take a night shot up the side of the pier to the ballroom and the boardwalk heading towards that pier. Little glary, but it's in the rain, and we'll go back to daytime. We got a better shot at daytime.
Steeplechase and Steel back in the 1910s.
And people went to the beach.
There was a packed beach at Virginia Avenue. That's the way they swam.
It's a rescue. So we got a few minutes left, 5 maybe. We're going to show you how they swam. There they're on the beach. There's how they swam in the water right off that beach. It would go right out into the water.
Right. If you lift that again, I'll show you the photographer of this is probably standing right there, facing east, and taking this picture of this shot.
That shot.
Right from here, looking east.
Look how that bowed out like a
Right, they
sandbar.
would set up like a bar, like out there. Here's the Heinz Pier back here.
And the crowds would watch the bathers.
Right, they're starting to close it in. You can see it's starting to be closed in as time goes by. They close all this in.
WFPG went up in it. Right?
WFPG radio station went up in here.
Here's how you could see under the pier.
All right.
Look at that. There's the
how
other
long it
side.
was. Look at it.
Whoa.
Quarter of a mile out to see the Marine Ballroom. Then the diving bell went in here. It was really fantastic.
Empty boardwalk?
Oh, there's a
Crowded
crowd.
boardwalk.
All right, outside the Steel Pier, Pennsylvania Avenue and the Boardwalk. Steeplechase, Steel. That's how it went. There, well, that's a little earlier, even before. As you notice, you'll start seeing them close all this off.
Isn't that something? How about a cakewalk, whatever that meant?
There was on the, I believe, the Garden Pier. After the Garden Pier was built, they used to do the cakewalk up there. That was like what? The twist, the mashed potatoes.
Like a line dance, a Macarena, and all that crap.
The electric slide. They're all
Yeah,
doing
here's
up there.
Virginia and the beach.
Well, actually, that's Virginia and the Boardwalk looking east. This would be the Virginia Avenue Pavilion. This would be the Maryland Avenue Pavilion. There's no Garden Pier, and there's Heinz Pier sticking out here.
On the boardwalk, right to them pavilions, right?
Same shot again. The Virginia Avenue Pavilion, the Maryland Avenue Pavilion.
And then this is on the beach in front of that pavilion.
Right. And this is in front of the States Avenue Pavilion, which would be right in front of the Showboat right now, where the other shots were right in front of the Taj Mahal.
All right, where's that?
That's States Avenue and the beach. That's exactly how it ended. Up here became the Kodak store. This is the States Avenue Pavilion here. This is the United States Hotel property.
Kodak.
That's
Eastman Kodak.
Eastman Kodak went in that building. That was the building prior to this picture where they swam under the boardwalk in the early days.
States Avenue no longer with us.
There's States Avenue.
Along with the rest of the city.
The east side of the street and the west side, it's all gone. They tore it down in '64.
Out of the 65 buildings on the National Historical Record, there's only 11 left standing in the city.
Right.
So here's a little Nixon Theater, States Avenue and the beach, looking back at Maryland. There's a better photograph. Maybe you can see it better in this one. Can you see it better?
What are we looking for?
Well, you got the Nixon Theater over here on the right. There's the Nixon Theater. That would be the St. Charles and the Breakers to that side, right?
St. Charles Breakers. But what happened is the Globe goes in here.
The Globe takes
On
the
the
place
side
of
of
the
the
Nixon Theater, right?
On the side of the Lorraine.
Okay. All right, well, let's say St. Charles and the Rudolph before it was the Breakers, right?
Coming up the board, here's the St. Charles, and here's the Rudolph. Years later, this became the Breakers. They put the Breakers in the front of it and changed the name from the Rudolph to the Breakers. And the St. Charles, they put a tower in front of this and another tower here, but this is way back. St. Charles, New Jersey Avenue and the Boardwalk, right here.
There you go. Better close-up of the Rudolph.
New Jersey and the Boardwalk, the Breakers got put in front of this. This is the Rudolph, this is New Jersey Avenue, and here's the front of the St. Charles and the Rudolph.
Here's the front of the Rudolph, looking at it.
There's looking straight in at the Rudolph, which you can't do anymore. The Garden Pier is right where my pointer is. The Breakers got put in front of it.
And here's a rolling chair parade starting out in the Northeast Inlet.
There's a rolling chair starting out from Heinz Pier. They came off of Heinz Pier in rolling chairs and came down the Boardwalk to probably Iowa Avenue only. There's the Rudolph and the St. Charles here. New Jersey and the Boardwalk, a rolling chair parade, no Garden Pier.
1 minute to go. There's Heinz Pier.
There's out on Heinz Pier. You went out there and got your pickles.
And there's the lighthouse.
There's the lighthouse.
And we got a couple different views of the lighthouse.
Pacific Avenue looking east, the Royal Palace and the lighthouse is be Connecticut Avenue and Pacific.
Life-saving station.
This is the life-saving station outside the United States Hotel. The boat stayed up here in rough weather. The boat dropped down and they went out and got you.
Life crew going after somebody.
They didn't go after bodies. They went after the boat to salvage all the shipwrecks.
Hey, turn the corner, go down the Boardwalk, head towards the Inlet Hotel.
You're going
where
towards Captain Starnes. Down here is the early picture, 1896. This is the Boardwalk. This would be Adriatic Avenue.
When you got to the end of the Boardwalk down there in the sailboat there,
right here,
used to launch planes from there.
They used to launch planes from here, Curtiss Aircraft.
Here's a plane in the water.
There's a
plane in the water.
In the water.
Over the other left.
Over here.
Right there.
All right. That's how you ended at the Boardwalk at Captain Starnes right here. When we were kids, there was a boat sticking out.
Coming back to me with the sailboats are the only things. We got that. That's nice.
What was that? I missed it, but okay.
I'll forget it. Everybody else will. We'll tune into that next week. That's why you have to keep tuning in, because the cards are new, the cards are different. Every show's got something John wants to say.
That's why you got to tape them so you can freeze frame them and look them yourself. We're just trying to get them on.
New York has its lady, San Francisco the Bay, Paris has its tower, London its queen. The town I was born in might change from old to new. That's something I must tell you. I've got sand in my shoes. I'll never leave Atlantic City. I'll never go too far away. I'll never leave Atlantic City. On the boardwalk, the song, people come every day, take in the sun air, walk on its beaches, might ride in rolling chairs. When they look at the brand new, think of the old days, things they used to do. Atlantic City, my hometown, I won't forget Atlantic City. I'll never leave.